Hey, what's going on, guys? Realm Gaming here. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention some of my socials in the description of the video. If you want to support the channel, please check those out. If you want to support the channel in other ways, please consider just dropping a like or a nice comment somewhere on the video. It really helps the algorithm push our content out there to a broader audience. With that being said, hope you guys enjoy the episode. Hey, what's going on, guys? Realm Gaming here, back into the video. Today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at how to handle some button bloat for Restoration Shaman. Now, Restoration Shaman historically has had a ton of issues with all the skills and abilities that they have, and the reason for that is due to totems. So we're going to take a look at an add-on that can put all of our totems into one specific sort of mouse wheel, and this is going to save you a whole bunch of space on your action bars and hopefully free up some of those very useful hotkeys so you're not using them on a totem that you use like once every 4 or 5 minutes. You can just put it into this add-on, pop it up when you need it, and then just kind of forget about it. And the add-on that we're going to be talking about today is called Opie, or it's Opie. It's OPIE on CurseForge. So you will need to install that quickly if you do want to kind of walk through us on this guide. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to call it Opie. That's more fun to say, so we're just going to go with that. So once you get it installed, you can hold down Alt-H on your keyboard, and that's going to bring up this sort of menu. This is like a default menu with, I guess, just some sort of base utility in here. And what this is going to do is allow you to scroll your mouse around, and it'll let you sort of quick select some of these options. So while I'm holding down Alt+H, I can use my Hearthstone over here on the top left. I can let go of Alt-H, and it will start to cast my Hearthstone. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically just kind of customize that wheel, make our own wheel, and we're going to put our totems into it. So I have moved my chat bar up here to the top left so that you guys can kind of see what I'm typing. So what we're going to do is type /OPIE, and that's going to bring up this menu here. Now, I don't believe that there are any options that you need to change on this menu. I did select show cooldown numbers so that when we do bring up our wheel, you can see exactly how many seconds are left on the cooldown of that specific spell. We'll take a look at that here in just a minute. And really, there's nothing you have to change from quick, relaxed, or mouseless, to be honest. I'm not sure what the difference is between these three options. I'm just using the quick option. And what I like to do is I like to go into custom rings. So what you do is that circle that pops up is called a ring, and you can make new rings and you kind of change the spells in them based to fit your own needs. So we have a drop down menu here, and we can select a specific ring. However, we want to create a new ring, and I'm going to call my ring Totems. And this is where I'm going to be putting some of my lesser used totems. So now that we have that created, we actually have a plus button over here on the left hand side, and this is called adding a new slice. Basically, this is just fancy terminology for adding a new spell. So I can press it, and you can kind of go through here, and you can add mounts, you can add whatever you want. But I'm just going to stick with abilities for now, and I'm just going to come in here and type in, let's just try Earthbind Totem. So type in Earthbind. I believe there's no space actually. So there's Earthbind Totem, and then just double click it, and now it will go to our list over here on the left hand side. So this is great and all, but the main issue that we have right now is we don't have a button to get our ring to display, right? We have to bind some sort of hotkey to get that ring to pop up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press X here to get out of this menu. And you might, depending on if you've left clicked Earthbind or not, you could have it accidentally selected over here on the left. So make sure you unselect it to where you can see totems here. And then what we need to do is we need to set up a key binding for our ring now. So I just unbound my binding here. Yours should say not bound. I had accidentally set it earlier, but go ahead and make sure this says not bound. And then all you got to do is just hover over it until it becomes highlighted. You'll left click it, and then now you can set a key binding. And I'm going to key bind this specifically to the tilde, which is right above the tab and right below the escape key. And this is a very sort of natural place for my finger to go. I've tried a whole bunch of other key binds. I couldn't really find one that worked for me, but this one specifically is the only one that seems to fit. So I'm going to bind it to that. And I do a lot of tab targeting. So this is, like the perfect place for me because I'm always going back and forth between tabs. So I just have to reach right above it. So that's just what works for me. You can pick whatever key binding you want. That's what I'm going to use for this video. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how this works. So let's just press OK. And now I'm just going to press the tilde key. And you can see I have my ring that's popped up here. I have Earthbind at the top. So if I want to drop it, all I have to do is just take my mouse to kind of port it in the direction of the Earthbind totem. You can see it pops up here now. And I now have an easy way to access this ability, and I can take it off my action bar now. So that frees up a place. So now let's take a look at something else. Let's go ahead and go back into Opie, and let's go into our custom rings here that we made. Press totems, and now we're back to that menu that we were at before. And let's go in here and type in the word poison and see what comes up. So we also have our poison cleanse totem that we can add to this. But the problem with this is I'm not actually spec'd into poison cleansing totem. So I'm going to put it in here. I made it as a new slice. So I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to press the tilde key. And you can see poison cleanse is not coming up on my ring anywhere. And that's because I'm not actually spec'd into poison cleansing totem down here in the bottom left. So it is actually pretty smart, and it knows like which abilities, which talents that you're spec'd into, and it will populate the ring accordingly. And then just to show you guys really quick, I'm going to spec into poison cleansing totem. And then once I spec into it, you can see here now it is on the ring at the bottom. So let's go ahead and just kind of build this out for some of the other totems that I like to use. And let's just go ahead and go into Opie again. Let's go into our custom ring. We'll select totems. And you can see on the left-hand side here, we can add some more slices. So let's go ahead and go in here, add a new slice, and then do Windrush Totem. That's probably a good one to add. We could also do Earthen Wall as well. I personally would put something like Capacitor Totem in here as well. I think that would be a good one. And then we could also put like Spirit Walker's Grace in here. And you can kind of customize this however you want. These are just specific spells that I like to use. So I think this is a pretty good list, a pretty good start. Let's go ahead and remove some of these totems from our action bars. And let's just see how much space we actually were able to save. So Spirit Walker's Grace will come off. Windrush will come off. In this specific build, I don't think, this is some random beta build, so I don't think I'm spec'd into Earthen Wall. We could also take our Stone Bulwark Totem off. Actually, no, we didn't add it yet. So let's add that one as well. Stone Bulwark. So we could take that spell off as well. What else do we have? We have Capacitor Totem. We could take that off. Poison Cleanse I already have off because I'm not spec'd into it on this beta build. And then Earthbind. I guess I didn't have Earthbind on here either. And then another one that I went in here and added is Water Shield as well. You know, it's just an instant cast. You cast it on yourself. Just another button that we can kind of free up that we're using, you know, maybe 4 or 5 times throughout the dungeon, depending on how much you're getting hit. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spells that we just put into this add-on. So that is 8 potential slots that we have now freed up on our action bars. We could also take this a step further, and I could even add something like Manatide Totem in there if I wanted to, right? Let's go ahead and add that as well. Just something else that we can kind of free up. And probably my recommendation with this is to not put any super high priority spells into this. I wouldn't put something like a Nature's Swiftness into this. I obviously wouldn't put something like a Riptide, something that you're casting a whole bunch, because this will take an extra button click to get to some of this stuff. So it will be a little bit slower. So your main spells, like your filler spells and your major cooldowns that you need access to quickly, I would leave those on your hotkeys. And I said hotkey, I meant key binding there. But let's go ahead and press the tilde key binding, and we can take a look at what this looks like. So now I have this sort of wheel of spells, and I have all these totems and stuff in here that, you know, I don't need immediate access to most of the time. Maybe Poison Cleanse, but for the most part, I don't need immediate access to these. All right, now let's just kind of take a look at what this looks like, right? So let's say I want to drop my Capacitor Totem. All I do is just drag my mouse over here in its direction. I don't have to left click or anything, just release the mouse. It selects my Capacitor Totem. We drop it, and then the cooldown starts. All right, now let's talk a little bit about how to actually use it. So I wouldn't put something like Lust on here because when you drag your mouse over to a specific icon and let go, so I'm going to show you with water shield, it will cast it no matter what. So if you accidentally press the button and your mouse is over here for whatever reason, and you let go of the button, it casts the spell. So I wouldn't put any sort of like high priority instant cast spells on this. It really works best in my opinion for totems or like self buffs. Now, if you don't want that effect to happen, you can just leave your mouse. You know, you'll have to kind of train yourself to leave your mouse in the middle of these icons and you can let go and it won't actually cast anything. Now, there is also an option under the Opie settings, and you can open the ring at your mouse cursor position. So by default, it's at screen center. This is where I'm going to leave it, but there is the option to open the ring at your mouse cursor location. So if your mouse is over here, it'll open your icons wherever your mouse goes. And then, yeah, I guess just one more thing to kind of talk about here, maybe one or two small things. If you do want to delete a ring, it's down here in the bottom right. And then we also have our ring bindings. So you can come to this tab here and you can kind of see what bindings you already have set up. So these are all the default ones here that will just kind of come with the install. And then the totems one here is the binding that we created. And then one other reason I really like this add-on is because as I drop some of these spells, I can just press tab, or I can press the tilde button and I can see which totems are on cooldown and when they come off cooldown, right? So it's really nice to be able to see a lot of my utility spells sort of on like a separate menu, and I can just press the button and just kind of say, hey, what do I have that I can use in this specific moment? Just kind of drop something. And I think it's going to kind of train me to use my totems a little bit more. And, you know, we want as much uptime on our utility spells as we possibly can. So the more efficiently that we can track these spells, the more uptime we get, the more useful we are to our party. So yeah, guys, hopefully this helps clean up some button bloat on your Shaman, or maybe any other specialization for that matter. This might translate to some other specs, maybe like blessings with Holy Paladin, something like that. I'm going to have to try to implement this into some other healer specs, kind of see how it flows with them. But for Resto Shaman, I think that this is a great sort of quick fix for some of the button bloat that we have. So yeah, guys, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'm pretty new to this add-on myself, so I'm still kind of going in here and trying to set it up exactly how I want it. I am also going to be adding this as a staple to all of my future Restoration Shaman guides. I think that this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people. And yeah, you know, if you guys just kind of keep up with the channel, in Season 2, we're going to do a new set of guides. There's going to be a whole bunch of new content, things that we learned from Season 1 on each healer spec. And I'm hoping by Season, 3 or 4 we're within, we have some of the best guides on YouTube for healer specializations. So if you guys have any cool weak auras, add-ons, or macros, please add them to the comments down below, and we can add some of those into our future guides. So if this video helped you guys out in any way, please consider liking, subscribing to the channel. You can also just leave a nice comment below. It all helps. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one.